We're going to be taking an art class today so you can see why what you're choosing to do with your dog isn't getting what you want them to do, right? So check this out. Punishment downside is capped and reward upside is completely unlimited. What do I mean by that? Well, let's look at punishment first. Punishment's a great place to start because punishment is really effective, generally speaking, because you can increase either the duration or the intensity, and that will change behavior, right? Now, that being said, the level of punishment is only in reference to your dog's level of tolerance for punishment, right? So if you've got a regular dog and they are at regular tolerance, and you punish them down to here, right? Just here, just a little bit. Well, okay, we know that that's below their tolerance, so they'll probably change their behavior, right? But what happens when you're constantly just doing this? All of a sudden, they're spending more and more time at that lower level, aren't they? And so what happens is their tolerance on one of these goes down to here. And then it continues out. So suddenly, you've got a dog that can tolerate a little more punishment than before. And so what do? Well, you do the same thing again because punishing, I mean, it worked for a little bit. They're just doing the same thing again. And so we'll just, a little worse, right? We'll turn up the shock collar, or we'll yell at them a little louder, or we'll swat them with like a wooden spoon instead of a newspaper. And the same thing happens. I mean, you keep punishing them, and then all of a sudden, it doesn't work again. And so you have to make it worse and worse. And over time, your dog just becomes capable of tolerating more punishment. You make your dog more capable, don't get me wrong. You make them way more capable, but not in the ways that you really want to make your dog capable, right? Now, here's the thing about punishment too, right? Is you change your dog's tolerance over time, sure, but punishment's also capped. So let's check this out. And this one, it doesn't matter what your dog's tolerance are. Okay, I will leave the line in the middle on this one. You got a regular dog with regular tolerance. It doesn't matter because there is a limit to how punishment can be used, right? Now, like I said, you can increase the duration or the intensity. So you can punish your dog for longer for the behavior, which they get 3 seconds of feedback. Take your gamble. Or you can punish them more severely, right? You can increase the severity. And the issue is that we always hit the ghost line. The ghost line's pretty bad. It means you don't have a dog anymore, right? You can punish them up until that point. You can punish them for as long as you want, right? You can take punishment long, which will change their tolerance, or you can take it intense, which will turn them into a ghosty. Okay? Now let's look at reward. Interesting. What happens when we, over time, reward a dog? Well, their tolerance for pain stays the same. Tolerance for pain stays the same. The whole time you reward the dog? Yeah, the whole time you reward the dog, the tolerance for pain stays the same because they're not getting punished. The tolerance doesn't need to change. They don't need to adapt, right? Whereas when we reward the dog, and this works, same with punishment, right? We can take the intensity up, or we can make the reward last longer. Notice how there's no cap to the upside of this, right? There's no cap at all. There's no ghosty up here. You can't reward your dog to death, You can punish your dog to death, for sure. For sure. It's possible. There's a maximum downside, right? And all this does is teaches them to tolerate more pain. You just make your dog more capable of handling punishment. That's why when you have a prong collar dog and you're walking them and you just keep letting them pull, this tolerance changes, right? I mean, the prong collar is pretty consistent, right? Let's say it's a little below their tolerance, so they listen for a while. But you use the prong collar infinitely without any rewards. Okay, we'll move this tolerance line. Beautiful. So your dog over here, what happens is, we don't like that, but it's the usual thing that we normally do, and you yank on it a little harder, and so maybe the punishment gets a little more severe. Ooh. Maybe you yank on that thing a little harder, and and that line comes down because we notice they're not reacting anymore. So we just bring that line down, and we keep going forever again, right? Remember, we're not rewarding here. And so as the dog is becoming more tolerant, you catch them right here. Ooh, and it works. Oh, it worked. Oh, thank Christ, it worked. You know, they for a little bit here, they were, you know, wasn't working, but now it's working again. And then they just kind of, I mean, you can't win, right? Unless you're gonna kill your dog. And like, is that a win? I don't know. That's crazy, you know. So your dog will always adapt. They're going to do the least amount possible to avoid punishment, right? What about upside, right? You're a creature on the planet. Every creature here uses thermodynamics to avoid punishment with the least amount of energy possible, and they will go to incredible lengths for upside, right? Think about the lengths people go to get nice things. Huh, interesting. We can completely change your behavior by incentivizing it? Huh. And like, which outcome would you rather have? Would you rather have a dog that's like more tolerant of pain, or a dog that is just rewarded and does the things you want? So, a little something to chew on. But there's a limit to how much you can punish your dog. So just keep that in mind. And remember that the basic rule is just reward the stuff you want to see. You know, there's nothing fancy here. There's nothing special. Reward the stuff you want to see every time you see it. Unlimited upside. What kind of investment? There is no investment with unlimited upside. Straight up. This is the only one you can make with unlimited upside. So why not just take the sure bet with, again, unlimited upside? Reward your dog every time. You got this.